How's it going out there? Welcome from H2TechVideos. Today we're going to be going over the 13 differences between the Galaxy Tab 3 7.0 and the Galaxy Tab 4 7.0. Our first difference to jump right in is going to be the screen resolution. On the Tab 3 you're getting a 1024 by 600 resolution, whereas on the Tab 4 you get a 1280 by 800. So a little bit of a higher resolution. Text is going to appear a little bit crisper on the Tab 4. And the colors, the vibrancy is going to be just a little bit sharper on the Tab 4. So that's the first difference jumping right out there. Second thing, and this is a big difference here, is going to be the processor. The Tab 3 has a dual core processor, whereas the Tab 4 has a quad core. So just real quick to explain that, the multitasking is going to be a lot better because you have the ability to do 3-4 things at once, because you have 4 processors processing the information, whereas on the dual core, after you have more than 2 or a couple of apps running, the tablet will begin to slow down. So this just allows you to multitask a little bit better on the newer version. So that's our difference number 2. Our third difference is going to be the button configuration. So on the Tab 3, right at the bottom here next to our home button, we have a menu button. When you tap it, it will launch your menu, quick settings, wallpaper, different things like that. Whereas on the Tab 4, they changed it from a menu button to actually a recent apps key. So when you tap it, it will show you the current apps that are running in the background. For example, if I open up Google Chrome and then I close it, and then I open up the Play Store and then I close it, and then I open the internet. So I keep saying I'm closing it, but actually what you're doing is you open up an application, then you go back to your home screen. That doesn't necessarily close it. So when you tap your recent apps key, you'll see that those apps are all right here running, which acts as a shortcut, so you can just jump right back into those apps when you want to get to them quicker. Also, it does save your spot, so if you're working on something and you go home to check something else, you can go right back and the app is still running right where you left it. So with the recent apps key, we just tap that and we can just tap close all, and now those apps are no longer running in the background. So you might say, I'm finished using those, I just want to get rid of them, and now you just have a shortcut. That feature is available on the Tab 3, but you have to hold down your menu button. So if we hold down, this is how you launch it. So that's just one difference between the two. It's a shortcut here, where here you've got to do it, you have to hold down, so it takes a little bit longer to get there. So that's difference number 3. Difference number 4 is going to be the operating systems on the Galaxy Tab 3. It does come stock with Android 4.1 Jelly Bean, whereas the Tab 4 does come with the latest Android 4.4, which is KitKat. So you get a couple of extra features there. Every time Android kind of makes a jump, they just add a little bit more to it. So another big difference there. Number 5 is going to be the look, and specifically the bezel and the backing. So as you notice, the bezel, which is the outer area of the tablet, is, it's not super thick, but if you compare this bezel to this bezel, it's about double the thickness. So on this one, the tablet is actually thinner because the bezel is thinner, and as well, when you flip them over, the backing is a little different too. You have a kind of a smooth plastic backing shell on here, Tab 3, whereas on Tab 4, it's got a little bit of texture to it, so it's not completely smooth. And it's not a big difference, but it's just kind of a tiny thing that is a little bit different. So if you were to feel them both, you would feel a difference. So we just want to point that out because this is all about the differences. So alright, let's get centered here, and that was number 5. Number 6, and this is just a one has it, one doesn't, but on the Tab 4, if we go to our settings, we have a new feature that you will not find on the Tab 3, which is you have multi-user, and what that does is it actually allows you to create different user accounts. For example, you could have an account, and you can also have an account for maybe one of your kids, or a married couple could share it. So when you sign in to your account, it'll have your email, your apps, the books that you're reading, and then you can sign out, and the other person can sign in, and it will just have their email, their information. So it basically separates it. So if you did have to share the tablet, you could separate your information from their information. So this is a new feature that is featured on the Tab 4 but does not come on the Tab 3. So that is one difference, which is a very key difference, and I can't wait till they bring that to phones. Kind of weird, but anyway, yeah. Alright, number seventh difference is another just new feature added to the 4 that's not on the 3. You have a shortcut now for a Google search right here. So we actually just have a quick search bar. Now, the reason it's different is on the Tab 3, the bar is right here. On the 4, it's down here. The difference is you can't get rid of it on the Tab 4. This is permanently in this spot, whereas here I can actually hold this and I could just remove it and it's gone. You see that? So it's something that can be replaced, whereas on here, no matter what screen I'm on, that shortcut is there, which allows me to tap it to do a voice search, as well as to let's see here, it'll actually launch your usually launches Google Now, but it's basically your Google quick search, and permanently right there, right at the bottom there. So kind of cool. Next feature, this is going to be our number 8. The app docks have changed slightly. So on the Tab 3, you have apps that are docked, which means that no matter what screen you're on, no matter which home screen, these apps are always down there. Whereas on the Tab 4, they've kind of gotten rid of the dock. Not kind of, they have gotten rid of it. So now if I change screens, guess what? Those apps are no longer down there. These apps you change based upon what you want to be on each screen. So tiny difference there. I kind of like it the way it is on the Tab 3, because I like to have certain apps down here that I know I'm always using and I just want to be able to get to quickly. For example, I usually have the internet, I usually have my email. So, you know, a small difference. Well, what they have done at least is kept the your app drawer right here. So even if you do switch, you still have your app drawer, which is right down here. See that? So just a, you know, another difference there. Next, number 9 is going to be the weight. So the Tab 4 is actually 1 ounce lighter than the Tab 3. Tab 3 is going to be 10.7 ounces right here, where our Tab 4 is going to be 9.7 ounces. So you will see a difference in the weight. Now, I'm not sure if you guys can tell ounces. I really can't tell too much, but you know, when you hold them both, you can tell that the Tab 4 is slightly lighter. So that is what it is. For number 10, we have another exclusive feature that now only comes on the Tab 4, which is going to be our multi-window button. And to get to that, we swipe down from the top, and there's a button that says multi-window. We tap on there, and it does bring up this list of apps on the side here. And what this does is it actually allows us to have 2 apps open and use them at the same time. So this is our shortcut too. If we hold down that arrow, it will launch it. So I can, for example, have my Gmail open up here, and then I can also have like my photos open down here. And since my Gmail is not set up, maybe we'll pick a different one here. Let's do YouTube. You could have YouTube. You could be watching a video at the top there and still making me sign in. So it's kind of kills the visual effect. But nonetheless, it still works the same. Let's try to get 2 things so you can just get a good visual. There we go. So we have our files up here and our photos down here. So this is a cool feature. Even as you rotate the tablet, you still, my rotation off. Let's turn that back on. There we go. So when you rotate it, it'll rotate with you as well, and we could have 1 app open here and 1 app open here. It only works for certain apps, but it is a really cool feature, especially when you want to look at 2 things at once, or you want 2 apps to interact together with each other. So that is our difference number 10. We got a couple more. We're going to get out of here. Number 11 is going to be micro SD storage, which is expandability. So on the Tab 3, you can put a micro SD card up to 64 gigabytes, whereas on the Tab 4, you can only expand up to a 32 gigabyte. Kind of interesting. I always wonder what really makes the difference in being able to add more or less, and I think it has to do with maybe the software configuration, but you can actually add a larger SD card on the Tab 3, micro SD, excuse me. You can add a larger one on the Tab 3 than you can on the new Tab 4, so that's just interesting to note. Number 12 is going to be Kids Mode, and this is a new feature that does come to the Tab 4 as well. Kid-friendly settings and kid-friendly apps right here. So if you did want to give this to your 2-year-old, you could go ahead and put it in kids mode, and you could set a pin so they can't get out of kids mode, and it just allows them to use kid-friendly apps and not wander where they shouldn't be. So another exclusive feature to the Tab 4 that you will not get on the Tab 3. And our final feature is going to be the keyboard look. I'm just going to bring up the keyboard so you guys can see. Let's go to the Play Store and we'll go to search just so you guys can see. Come on, just give me a keyboard. Just give me a keyboard. I gotta make everything difficult. Here we go. Okay, so we tap, and as you can see, the keyboards are slightly different. Buttons are pretty much in the same place, but visually they have kind of given the Tab 4 kind of a cleaner look. Keys are a little bit bigger, so you don't have to worry about hitting the wrong key as much, so I kind of like that. They both have the typing sound, so that's the same. But, you know, just a nicer, cleaner look, which I like. I always like to point out different things like that. Let's see here. And if you notice, there is also another key difference here, which is on, watch this, hold down. Yes, actually, excuse me, we have a fourth difference, which is you actually have a voice to text option. If you hold down on the wheel, the settings wheel here, you can tap on the microphone. Hello, type my name, please. And there it is. You can actually, it has voice to text recognition, so now we can just talk and it will type in what we say, whereas we don't have this option on the Tab 3. So we actually end up with 14. Kind of funny sometimes you find something in the midst of the video. And real quick, I just want to go over the things that have not changed really fast. So cameras are going to be the same, 1.3 megapixel front camera on both, and 3 megapixel rear camera. So nothing's changed there. They both have GPS. They both have the built-in IR blaster, which does allow you to use your tablet as a universal remote, which is a really fun feature. And finally, internal storage is the same. You get 8 gigabytes, and they don't offer a larger option. So just wanted to go over the differences, the 14 differences between the Galaxy Tab 3 and Galaxy Tab 4. Some of you may be you know, trying to make a decision of which one you should purchase. This kind of gives you an option to really see what the differences are. And some of you may say, I want to spend a little bit extra, get the Tab 4. And some of you may say, hey, the Tab 3 is fine, I'm going to go with that one. So hope you guys found this helpful. Make sure you like, favorite, and share the video if it was helpful. Make sure you also share this video with anyone you know that is looking for a new tablet. These are two great options, very low price, both under $200, and you're not going to be dissatisfied with either. They're both great tablets. Thanks for watching. Take care and have a good one.